Chapter 10 The Route to Us. After the house burned down, or we thought it had burned down, we no longer wanted to explore in it on our own. Tom insisted we should tell my parents everything. I agreed. "Dad, Mom, where are you?" I say, attempting to find them after what seemed to be months exploring the closets. "Steph, I cannot find my parents," I say, feeling very weak. "Jill, please tell me you did not lose your parents," Steph says. "Dad has lately been in his partial office watching the news. I figured he'd still be in there," I say. "Mr. Flippy," Steph says in a loud voice. "Do you all remember what I said about my mom saying all the people disappeared?" Tom mentioned. "I don't want to think about it right now, Tom," Steph says. "Seriously, where are Jill's parents?" Tom says. "Tom, I do not want to panic," Steph says. "Everyone, we must solve this. Quick, let us split up. Let's search every room." We scramble to find my parents. "Mr. and Mrs. Flippy, Mom, Dad," and nothing. We searched every part of the house. The sun began to set. Small fears began to enter our bodies. "Jill, where's is Mom or Dad?" Frog asked. Frog holds a thought. "What do you and Sally want to eat tonight?" "Brownies, cereal. How about your favorite, peanut butter, fluff, and raspberry jam on toasted bread?" "Yes, please, Jill." "Okay, follow me into the kitchen," I say. I pull the tasty items out of the cupboard. I toast the bread in the oven. 5 minutes later, once the bread was toasted, the other children loaded their favorite toppings on the toasted bread. Fluff, peanut butter, jam, and chocolate lit up the kitchen. Once we were done, we were left with an extremely sticky mess. We were so happy to eat we forgot about our fear. I knew to keep it this way. "We will just leave the mess for another day. I'm going to watch television." I sit on the blue sofa. My belly is full of fluff and raspberry jam. I pick up the remote to the television. I press the power button. Dad must have been watching the news the last time this was on. We stared at the television. Mostly everyone fell asleep within 5 minutes except Tom and me. Making headlines. Mrs. and Mr. Flippy's disappearance from inside their small suburb home in Walkstown, Mass. Police are still searching for the children. "I did not see the police over here today or yesterday," I say to Tom. "It's because they're lying, similar to what my mom and dad had mentioned beforehand. They suddenly disappeared," Tom says. I do not want to wake the others. I do not want to tell them figuring this out. "Tom, let's keep this between me and you," I say. I pick up the remote and turn on some cartoons. We sleep. We all wake up at the same time in the morning. Frog immediately says, "I miss Mom and Dad." Sally agrees. "I'm scared. Where's Mom?" "They'll be alright," Steph says, wrapping her arms around both. I was concerned, but I was not all that upset by Mom and Dad disappearing. I could use an adventure. Wondering what we'll find next, I invite the others to re-explore the mansion. "I will search upstairs with Tom, and you three search the downstairs," I say, pointing to Steph, Frog, and Sally. "I don't know if we should, Jill," Frog says. "What if a lady comes in here or we get lost in a closet?" "We'll be fine," I say. Reluctantly, Frog goes with Steph to search the bottom floor. Tom and I search the second floor. 1/2 hour later, Steph, Frog, and Sally walk upstairs. "We didn't find anyone," Frog says. "Strange, very strange," Tom says. Suddenly it occurred to me, we had not explored the attic. "What about the attic?" I blurt. "I've not been up there since we first moved in," I say. "Okay, you lead the way," Steph says. We slowly walk towards the attic. "Mom, Dad," I say. I hear nothing. "I hate this attic," Sally says. "We will go up really quickly and come back down," I say. I run up the attic stairs, kind of freaking out. It was dark up there, lit by only a small window in the back. "Tom, will you grab the light switch and turn on the light?" I ask. "Sure, Jill," Tom replies. He stumbles in the dark, looking for the string that flips on the attic light. Click. Lights. Wow, amazing. This is wonderful. I wonder what made Mom and Dad do this, I say. Maybe they didn't, Tom argues. Could not believe my eyes. Fudge, brownies, with candy on top, cookies, pastries of all sorts, and soda placed on the tables in the attic. We rushed to the nearest table and immediately began eating. The food looked wonderful. I could not restrain my hands from grabbing more than enough. Why would Mom and Dad leave this up here, I say, with a mouth full of food. Maybe they didn't, Jill, Tom says. Maybe we're dreaming, Steph adds. Do not say this. This is too delicious, Sally says. With a cookie in my hand, I begin to explore the huge attic. Through one room and into another. Hey, look, there are sweets down here too, I yell from 2 rooms down. The others rush to where I am. This is surely a dream, Jill. Your parents would not have left this amount of fresh food up here, Tom says. We cannot eat this in a day, most likely not even a week, Tom says. Whatever it is, I don't want a problem at the moment, I say, still exploring the attic, an attic that seemed to have no end. Through one room and then another. Jill, was the furniture up here when you moved in? Tom asks. I guess so. I rarely come up here, so I wouldn't know, I answer. It's so nice and comfortable, Steph adds. Exactly, I say. I would live up here, but my parents, they most likely would not let me. I begin to think, oh yes, they're not here anymore, I say, relieved. Good thing, now I can live up here. I look at Steph, suddenly realizing I verbally uttered that I did not appreciate my parents. Thought you loved your parents, Steph says. I put my head down, listening to my own thoughts. Thought I did too. Jill hates Mom and Dad, and I'm going to tell them, Frog utters while singing. Mom and Dad are not even here, Sally says. I snap back into reality. We must find Mom and Dad, I say. We should go back downstairs and watch television. Steph asks, should we call the police? I don't think they'll understand, Tom says. I think we can find them, I say. We must be focused. We rush back downstairs and sit in front of the television. Jill, turn on the news, Tom mutters. I flip on the news. The first channel looked like the world news, so I changed it to another station. As soon as I change the channel, I hear Steph say, Jill, look. I look. Tom and Steph both say, Jill, that's your parents on the news. I get close to the television. Flippy family strangely disappears from their small suburban home. Food was prepared on the table and the cars were in their driveway, but no family. The case is classified unsolved, the news anchorman says, presenting a picture of my parents. Sally, Frog, and I at Yellowstone National Park, taken before we moved. That cannot be true, Tom argues. Steph adds, said Flippy family. But Jill, you're not dead, Tom reasons. Neither is Frog or Sally, I say. Well, they must have screwed up, Tom admits. But where are your parents, Steph questions. I don't know, Steph, I express. Well, it's not like you loved them, Steph says. What? That's what you said when we were in the attic, Steph teases. Whatever, Steph, I express. Get off the couch and walk into the kitchen. I notice the back door is open. Walk out into the sunlit grass. Take a breath of fresh air. I look around, carefully to listen to the birds chirp. Casually look to my left. See the door open. The door that should be locked. The door that leads to the piano. I slowly approach the door. I peek into the inside. Nobody's in there. I walk inside. Looks the same as it did the other day when I was over here. I pick up one of the pieces of paper sitting on the upright piano. I look at it. It was addressed to Miss Rugg. Begin to read. Miss Rugg, I know times are hard right now. Most people have hard times. You should not bring yourself to a point where your entire existence becomes repulsive. Set the letter down. Strange, I could not understand that letter. Rarely do I read. Most of the time I glance at the words, but I do not read them. I look at the window, the curtains covering them. I ask myself, am I repulsing life? Why do I feel as if I'm happy about the other people disappearing? Why am I happy that I cannot find my parents? I don't even care if my parents come back. If they do at some point, I'll have to go back to school. I walk into the back room, thinking about my reality at the present moment. I picked up a photograph. A handsome man in a fine suit, proud to be him, stands looking at me in the picture. I could almost think I known that man, but I brushed it off as a symptom of the pandemic happening on the outside world. I stick the picture down on the photo pile dresser and begin to think. I hate my parents. I hate school. I recall watching my dad sit in front of the news playing on the television, as if he was waiting for the world to end. I recall as he was doing this that I too was hoping that it would all end. Not only the world to end, but he forcing me to go to school. I hate him and my mother for that. Jail, jail, I hear from the backyard. It was Steph. Yes, Steph, I'll be right out. Walk out into the sun-drenched backyard. What are you doing, Steph asks. I stuff my emotions deep inside, hoping that my feelings towards my parents would not show up on the surface. The door to the locked room was open, so I went inside. I did not find anything, though, I say, and begin to change the subject. I'm hungry, I say. I walk inside the kitchen and begin to wander through the cupboards. There's not much in here. My mom is beginning to shop like you, Steph. Very simple. What do you have in there, Steph asks. Baking soda, flour, raspberries, jam, and beans. You have jam, Steph blurts. I know what to do with that. What else do you have, Steph asks. Begin to move items around the cupboard. We have some baking soda and not all that much else, I answer. I bet with these few items we can make biscuits or something like biscuits, Steph says. Okay, you lead the way. Steph pulls out a giant bowl. Sally and Frog heard things moving around the kitchen and came running out to see what we were doing. What are you doing, Frog asks. Making biscuits and jam, Steph answers. That sounds good, Sally says. How do we do that, Frog asks. My mom said to mix baking soda, baking powder, flour and water in a bowl. Mix it just enough so it's thick and then simply put some heat to it, Steph answers. Sounds simple enough, I say. We make a big batch, pouring the dry stuff all together in a bowl and then pouring the water on the top. We take the loaf of dough and place it on a cookie sheet and pop it in the oven. 15 minutes later, Steph pours the whole jar of raspberry jam on the top of the now baked bread loaf. We wait for it to cool. We mildly rip off chunks of the bread roll with our hands, stuffing our mouths, satisfying our bellies, and our hopes of another day.